Hi everyone. We are going to discuss a static default route today, a static default route today. So normally in the simplest case, for example, we have this one subnet, and in this subnet, if one user wants to send to some other user, and if the destination host is on the same network, so for example, this is the same network, same subnet, so 192.168.1.0, this shows that this is in the same subnet. So this should have 1.2 IP, but the IP should be within the same subnet. So if the destination node is on the same network or on the same subnet, then packets are delivered using the local media without a router. So in this case, we even don't need router. The packets can go to this user and they can go to this user until they are the packets are actually sent to the same residential subnet, or the same subnet. So you can see there's a class C, and if you have some confusion, you can look at the subnetting video. So anyway, if this is in the same subnet, then we don't need, or the packets don't need to go to the router, and they can flow using the local media. But for example, if the host needs to communicate with a host, and that host is not in the local area network, but that is somewhere outside the local area network. For example, in this case, what happens if the packet comes, and in that packet, for example, we have some address which is not in this subnet, then what happens? In this case, it contacts with a router available on its own network. On own network means there will be one interface which will be in this same subnet, and that packet will be handed over to this router. And this router is known as default router. So the packet actually belongs to the network which is actually out of the local area network. Then the job of the operating system available in this host machine are as per protocol or as per rule, that packet has to be handed over to this router, which is acting as a default gateway or a default router. And then this router, of course, will have a routing table, and the router will look into this routing table to see if there is an entry for the destination IP address. So this router will receive a packet. In that packet, we will have an IP address, and this router will look into this IP address that do I have any entry in this routing table to forward this packet to some other network or to this network. So it will check in the routing table. And if it finds any entry in the routing table, then it will just forward that packet to that specific network. So this may be this. Clear? Now, for example, if the router finds no entry in the routing table, so the router has received the packet, but as per the IP address in the routing table, there is no entry for it, then router is confused that where to send that packet. So in this case, one of the option is that a router may actually discard that packet. It will ignore, it will just drop that packet. It will not forward anywhere. One of the option is that. But we have another option as well. So in that option, what router can do, so router may forward that specific frame to another router, and that router is actually default route. So in the same way, all of the packets for which there is no entry in the routing table, this router actually forward those packets to a default route. We also have the same concept here. So this can send to next router. What we have to do, again, the same command, that is IP route, which we have been using to configure the static route. So again, static route. What we do, so instead of mentioning any specific subnet or any specific host, what we do, in the IP address, we use 000 and here in the subnet mask as well 000. This indicates that whatever is the IP address of the packet which has been received by this router, those all packets has to be forwarded by this interface. So for example, if this is 000, so 000, this same interface, same. So all the packets whose IP address is not available in the routing table, so this router is supposed to forward those all packets to from this interface, and this interface is connected with this router. So this router will act as a default here. So the same concept is going to be repeated here. So we can also statically configure the static default route or static default route in our router by using this command. That is very much helpful and in situations where we don't find any entry in the routing table for some specific packets in the network. So in that case, so there, this can be any other router. So not only this, so we can have multiple routers. So this router can select even this router as a default route. And yes, so this was the some idea about static default route. And yeah, thank you very much for your time.